Welcome back, all you fellow Diablo fans. It's that time again for another episode of Westmarch Workshop. On tonight's episode, we have, of course, more 2.3 hype. We're going to get in depth with our thoughts on Kanai's cube. What do we think about the new recipes introduced with the cube? And what kind of gear combinations are we seeing on the PTR? Do you guys think this cube is going to have a positive impact on the game, or will it introduce too much power creep? We have a jam-packed episode for you guys tonight, and I'm excited to get started. I am Lieutenant Lunatic, and I will be your host on this little ride. And joining me tonight, as always, is our other host, Mr. Neinball. Neinball, how's it going, man?
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I felt like I was like roboting that whole thing through because it's like my first true intro.
Just go back and listen to some of the early episodes with Archon and I, and if you want to get like really bad, you can just...
It's just like an awkward intro, and then we start getting into talking. That's what I feel like right now. I'm going to get there.
Yep, we'll all get there eventually.
But how's it going, man?
I am doing pretty good. I'm enjoying life, at least trying to enjoy it in my limited time off here lately.
You are?
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Well, I guess, like, because that's going to kind of... You're probably going to say something a little bit about your week in gaming coming up in a second. So I might as well just ask you the question right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We can just go ahead and get that out of the way. And I have a feeling that my week in gaming, strangely, is very similar to yours from conversations that we've had outside the show. We do that every once in a while.
We do. Guys, we talk outside of the show, believe it or not.
Yeah,
we're friends.
Surprising.
Neinball and I were actually friends before I even joined the show. So, just so you guys know that this isn't like a forced relationship. This is a relationship.
The truth is out there.
And I'm never gonna break up with you.
Aw, thank you.
Ever.
My heart can't just take any more separation.
I feel like I need to sing a song right now, but I won't.
Thank you for that one. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, the new job has really been taking off, and yesterday was like my first day off, and since like I think like 8 days, so it's yeah, it was a bit of a rough opening week. I mean, I don't even know how to begin to explain what my Monday night was. Like, right before my day off, I was just like, okay, it's Monday, not very many tickets sold, it's going to be a nice, quiet evening. The only thing I'm going to have to deal with is, you know, all the ladies going and seeing Magic Mike at 9 o'clock and getting drunk and, like, throwing things at the screen.
You guys are airing that movie?
Yes, we are. I don't want to make stereotypes about the type of women that go and see Magic Mike, but the type of women that go and see Magic Mike are stereotypes. We found a bra at the front of the theater during one of the showings. Someone took off their bra and threw it at the screen as if they were really up there. So I don't know. To make things worse, in that theater we serve alcohol, so it just gets progressively more interesting as the showing goes on. But Monday night we lost power, and even though we have a backup generator, the projectors aren't on it, so the projectors don't play. But the server is, so the movie continues to play, even though there's nothing coming out on the projector. So once power came back, the movie is now like 20 minutes ahead from where they started watching, and having to go back and try and reposition. We only had one guy that could do any of the projectors, and trying to redo 9 films back to the point that it was. And of course, for Magic Mike, they're all inebriated, to say the least. They were wanting to, like, no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. No, go back 5 minutes. So forward 3. No, back 2. And it was something else. And then once we finally got everybody happy and everything's set and good, fire alarm goes off and we have to evacuate the building.
Oh my gosh.
I think I spent maybe like an hour and a half doing ticket refunds, handing out comp tickets, and just listening to drunk people complain. So it was an interesting evening, but if that showed me what the absolute worst of the job could be, I'm set. I'm golden.
You're on board, man.
This is easy. So yeah, I did have a little bit of a chance yesterday and the weekend to hop on the PTR and play a little bit, but it's just kind of like going through and getting off work at getting home at around like 1:30, 2 o'clock, just going to bed, waking up at 1, and then going to work. So it's been it's been interesting, but I think I'm back down to 40-ish hours instead of 50-ish hours, and this all times up perfectly well with the season 4 testing coming out tomorrow. But we'll talk about that later. But let's
Gosh,
see
you
how
just stole the news.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Let's see what your week in gaming was.
Well, my week in gaming is about similar to yours. So I think we both kind of prefaced last week's episode, or ended last week's episode with saying there wasn't going to be a whole lot, you know, a whole lot of gaming that's going to happen this coming week because I was at home all weekend back where my parents live, and for the 4th of July, we all go home there, and I'm from a small country town, and we all for fun we shoot guns and play with cows and things like that. Not really, but we yeah, all that good stuff. But we have like our small town traditions and fireworks and parades and all these things. And so I was at home all weekend. Um, I have literally been at my computer since last week for about 30 minutes. And so I did not really get a whole lot of chance to play Diablo this week, unfortunately. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, luckily, I was able to follow the news, see what's going on the whole time, um, because we still enjoy, we still enjoy all that stuff. But uh, unfortunately, I didn't get to play, and I was really bummed. Like I logged on last night on the clan, and someone was like, "Holy cow, Lunatic's here!" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel really bad because I haven't been on in like a few days." And so, yeah, I hopefully this week's better because I'll be home. I'll be at my house more this week and all that good stuff. So, unfortunately, my week in gaming was Zippo. I will say, if we're going general week in gaming, like general gaming. So I did while I was at home. I have an iPad, and I'll admit that I downloaded Clash of Clans. I
I,
don't know.
I've not
What's
touched
that?
it, but the sheer amount of advertising that I see from it makes me not want to play it. That and
Yeah,
what
and
was
that's
it? The other one with
the God
Kate
of War.
Upton. Yeah.
I see. I've been told not to try that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, so my brother-in-law was playing it when I was over at my wife's house, my wife's parents' house, and he was playing it, and he was showing me all these things. I was like, man, that doesn't look like fun, but it really reminds me of Age of Empires 2, which I spent like almost as much time playing as I played Diablo 2 when I was younger. That was like my number 2 most played game. And so I was like, man, this looks like Age of Empires, almost, kind of. Is it RTS, same thing, kind of. But so I downloaded it, and that's been like the only thing that I've been playing the past week because I've had my iPad, and that's it. So um, yeah, that's been my weekend gaming. I'll probably play it for another like 2 days, and I'll be done with it for good. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be a game that I'm
I
hooked
guess
on for life.
the only game that I've really been playing is also mobile is the Final Fantasy Record
Final
Keeper.
Fantasy. I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Does that have? So I know we've talked about this quite a bit. Does that have replayability, like quite a bit, like to where you're like always wanting to log in and always wanting to do more?
Well, they're always adding new content to it, so there's more stuff to go and do. So
Okay.
yeah, it just has new content to always go and tackle or stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess it's always the same thing, but it's just like you've got this carrot just sitting right over there, and it's like, hey, if you jump these hurdles, you can have this carrot, and then like, hey, if you jump these hurdles, you can get a candy bar, and if you jump these, we'll give you a soda. So it's always just something new.
Ooh, just rewarding. I like
Mm.
those. So yeah, if anybody else has ideas for us to any other mobile games for us to try out, like I don't want. All
I know
right,
one,
what?
Hearthstone.
Oh, see, okay, I do play Hearthstone, and um, I got really into it. For those of you who don't know, I just finished up a huge bout of chemotherapy, which really sucked. But like I was like bedridden for a long time, and I played for the whole month of May. I played nothing but Hearthstone. Like I woke up and played Hearthstone until like I went to bed. I tried so hard to get to Legend, I didn't quite make it, but I got really close. So um, Hearthstone's fun, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, if anyone else has any ideas for us to play, like mobile games, like I don't want it to take over my Diablo life by any
Mm.
means. But if you have anything that I can just like pick up for a few minutes and then put it back down, I'm up for trying something out. So
Have you
yeah.
tried Sudoku?
Ooh, is there a good app for that? Because I enjoy Sudoku.
I have no idea.
I need to try it. I need to try it
Mm-mm.
out. Yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah,
So
give it a shot. Give it a shot. And Long Shot was going through and asking about the Warhammer 40K. What is it? I lost my match, and then the person that beat me lost theirs to the wild card slot, and then the wild card slot beat my teammate. So unfortunately, we came in second place, and the wild card ended up winning, which is awesome because Sean is a really cool dude. He's pretty fair and always a blast to play with, and he's probably one of the best painters in the entire store. So that also works out.
So are you? I think we've talked about this before. Are you a painter of your characters or your figurines? What do you
I
call them?
I, I like painting the models. I'm just bad at it, so that makes me
That's how
not.
I would be, I
Yeah,
think.
that makes me not want to paint it as much because it's just like I have the idea in my head, and then I go through and I put it on the model, and it's like, well, that looks like shit.
So
I'm
you're
gonna,
kind of like how I feel like I would be. Is like I
yeah,
would do a lot of planning and say I'm gonna make it look like this.
uh,
I really want to do this. A lot of research, and then when I get there, it just doesn't look like Pinterest showed me.
in
I'm just
yeah,
kidding. My
Bovolution
wife always gives
it's
me all these Pinterest things. That's why I was saying that.
mm,
So
Bovolution is going and asking if I'm going to look at Age of Sigmar. I actually brought my Tomb Kings out of storage and I started painting them again because of how excited I am for that game. So
ooh,
I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that.
awesome.
Um,
Well,
wait, shall we actually start talking about
yeah,
Diablo?
yeah,
I don't
because
know.
we got on off on a huge tangent. I feel once in a while I feel like that's okay because it is our show, right?
It is our
We can do
show.
that. We can do that.
I'm using it as a platform to vent ever so slightly.
It's allowed though. Like we
You
can do
know?
that.
Yeah.
So like this is a show about Diablo, but we're gonna get
Uh-huh.
off on tangents, and I'm all right with that. I like tangents, but yeah, let's do it. So
Muggs, you're gonna be hold on one sec. Muggs, you're gonna be in South Florida. I am in Palm Beach County. If you stay till after the show, let's talk. So that way we might be able to go through and meet up. That would actually be pretty cool if you're gonna be on the East Coast of Florida. Anyways, moving on. Moving on.
yes, join him. Well, I
Yep.
was actually down there like a few months ago, and I couldn't even make it over. I was really bummed because I didn't
Yeah.
have a car.
Yeah. That is the one problem. It's like when you're in Florida, that doesn't mean too much depending upon where you are. Like even though
Yeah,
you were in South Florida, you were on the West Coast, so you were still like 4 hours away.
I know it. And I didn't have a car, and
Hmm.
I was still kind of bedridden. Kind of sucked. Anyway, all right. News.
Oh, you're gonna be in Lauderdale. Best rib place in the entire planet. Tom Jenkins, Federal and Davy, best barbecue in the entire world. I will
And
be
that's where
there.
we were
We're
gonna
meeting up.
go.
And I know any opportunity that I have to go to Fort Lauderdale and eat at Tom Jenkins barbecue. I know what was it? Nevik and I were joking the one time about going through and getting like the full throttle sponsorship. But if I could get a sponsorship from Tom Jenkins barbecue, I would be ecstatic. I would be livid. Um,
Neinball, I feel like you need to try my barbecue then.
I guess
Because
so.
secretly, like in real life, outside of video games, like grilling is like my thing, man.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna barbecue for you sometime.
I'll
When
be waiting for it. I'll
when
be
you
waiting
come to
for
small town in Indiana, we're gonna barbecue.
it. Just for that. Just for that. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
there.
dude. Yeah.
So season 3 is ending on the PTR.
Yeah, it is. It ended yesterday,
Uh-huh.
right? So everybody's characters are non-season. which is weird because like I was looking through my friends list that I've add on PTR, and I was like, why is no one playing season? And I was like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
because it's over.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So they just ended the season 3 on the PTR yesterday, so that way they can go through and test out season 4. Make sure, they have to make sure that the hamster spins, that the monkeys have their wrench, that they go through and that the transition works and that all the items dump in and that the new season switchover works, because obviously it's always new coding and stuff and things change. So it's, excuse me, good to go through and get that up and running. But that also will open up some things for some for classes, because they're waiting, like wizards are waiting on a really big item that's only available in season 4.
Yep. Yeah, that's I think honestly when season 4 rolls over, that's when like the real testing is going to begin because it's going to introduce these new items and like I mean everybody's getting like I think everybody's getting items, but yeah, like the wizard is going to be huge
Yeah,
and
because they have the belt that, your Archon stacks increase the attack speed, armor, and resistances. So that way it gives you a little bit extra damage, while in Archon form, a little bit of the extra survivability if you have the item that makes it so, your
um,
Archon stacks last after the Archon goes away. Um, I mean, there's also just a lot of other interesting little things. The Crusader item, not so much. I'll be, with the. I don't know how the new Demon Hunter crossbow for spike traps is going to work out. They redesigned spike traps. We'll see if that, works too much. And of course, the new monk weapon for the new monk set. I don't know if that's going to be enough to push it into the viability range. Because right now, a lot of people, the monk set is fun. It's awesome. As I've heard nothing but good things about the Shinlong set, but the new
yeah,
seven-sided strike set is a lot of fun, but just
and
can't compete.
everybody's using it.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Will definitely
Yeah.
be some interesting things, and of course, the absolute best one is the fact that the cat offhand is being added for the Witch Doctor.
Heyo.
Yep,
Yep.
can't wait.
It's gonna be sweet.
It's
I
gonna
I
be
am
amazing.
I am considering a witch doctor
Hmm.
again this season. I played it not this current season, but I played it last season. Is my ZDPS is my main, and I'm considering it again just because. And we'll kind of talk about this a little bit later, but the combinations that you can use in the cube for the witch doctor, I'm super excited about. Um, so I'm considering witch doctor again.
Hmm.
I don't know, but then again, I've been changing my mind a lot. Like monk since vanilla, I've put the least amount of time into, so I'm considering monk because monk's gonna be really fun this season. Um, I keep. I also want to play crusader because blessed hammer, which we'll also talk about a little bit later in
Hmm.
an email. Um, I don't know, man. There's so many options, and this is what I like. I love that there's so many options. There's so many options. Like I'm excited to play like all these different classes, and I have respect for people um, who are just like, this is my class. Like Lala, is so devoted to monk that she like that is her class, and like that is what she plays every season. Like she'll play other classes, but that is her class. Um, I have respect for people like that because I want to be like that, but I'm just like, oh man, I want to play this class, and I want to play this class, I want to play this class. So tangent.
Yep, ever so slightly. I got into a conversation with Leviathan this past week, and I think it's pretty much settled. I am rolling a Crusader, so that way I can roll Hammered in, and I
Yeah.
am I am going to name her Oprah, because you get a hammer, and you get a hammer, and you get a hammer. Everybody gets hammers, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh man, I did, yeah. Leviathan cracks me up with that.
Hmm.
That's yeah,
Yep.
that's
That,
funny.
that is my plan for season 4.
So you're Crusader. Are you 100% Crusader?
Yeah. Looking at some of it and talking with Steven, the Crusader hype is real, and yeah, I want to roll a Hammered in. It's
He's
been
been
so long.
he's been testing quite a bit. with his hammered in build, and I
He has been going ham on the hammers.
hey, ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Mm,
That was
I kind
that
of
was.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you should save that and use it more often when you are playing your Crusader.
I will do that. So when we inevitably do our season 4 all night stream, I will just repeat that over and over again, every 5 minutes.
All right, deal.
Mm-hmm.
That I like that. Yeah, see that to be honest is probably like the set that I'm most excited about is the Hammerden, because I play a crap load of of Hammerden and Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably like my main. Um, and so yeah, man. See now you're doing this to me because I was like, and I feel like whenever I start talking about one class, I'm like, that's what I'm playing, and then you bring up Hammerden again, and I'd already thought about that earlier, and then I was like Witch Doctor, and now I'm back to like maybe I should play Hammerden.
You're welcome. Sorry, not
Oh
sorry.
man,
Aren't you thankful?
gosh.
Can
Yeah.
I hit
Yeah.
anymore? But for me, I always loved the Hammerden build. I always had one that I messed around with every once in a while. My old roommate Chris, if you're watching or listening here, he just brief tangent. He also does his own podcast. It's a video game general podcast. I was on their episode quite a few weeks ago, like 2 months ago almost. It's called the Megazone Podcast. You should go through check it out. You can find him on twitch.tv/lifefilter. There you go. I did my part.
There you
Um,
go.
but he had like one of like the best geared Hammerdens I had ever seen, and it was just a thing of beauty, watching him go through and play. And I just those are like my memories watching him play. His Hammerden are my memories of the Hammerden. So it's not even me playing it, but just watching in reverence of my roommate going through and playing one. It was just I don't know.
They are fun to watch.
They
Like,
are.
because that was always the build that all the bots use in Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they just destroyed stuff so fast.
Yeah.
And so
And this
pretty
this
fun.
was before what was it like um patch 12 or 11? They
Ooh.
changed it because the blessed hammers used to ignore the magic immunity on undead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then they went and nerfed it and made it so that way magic immune undead were still immune to the hammers.
Yeah, that's what made them so tough is like they destroyed everything no matter what you were attacking because nothing affected it.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about that. Good old Diablo 2. We always have to have a Diablo 2 conversation in every episode, I feel like.
Of course, of
I'm all right with
course.
that.
It's predecessor, great game.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great game. So, yeah, moving on. So Wyatt Chang did announce through Reddit actually that the conduit pylon is moving back to 30 seconds from 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's gonna be one of those. They they nerfed it too much
I agree.
at the beginning of season 3, so they had to buff it a little bit. But it still is one of those that's just it's not. It didn't feel. Well, it definitely wasn't the level that it was before, and a lot of the times it just was so short you wouldn't get much effect out of it in the greater
Yeah.
rifts. It,
You
it
had to
was.
plan it like to where someone was back ready to hit it when
Hmm.
someone else was beside enemies because you had such a short window,
Hmm.
which really sucked.
Yeah, and it was just one of those. Some of the other changes that they made, so that way it doesn't attack the same mob as often, has like a little internal cooldown, and now it's not as needed because Conduit used to be saved for bosses. You'd go through, spawn the Rift Guardian with the Conduit pylon, and it does a crap ton of damage, so you can burn it down really quickly. Now that the Rift Guardian takes up that much of the Rift instead of that much of the Rift, not as needed. You can go back to using it for what it was intended, so that way you can just run down the hallway killing everything and get a whole bunch of rift progression.
Yeah. I I did read that a lot of the people on I did a lot of looking at the leaderboards this week, and I did read that a lot of people that's how they are still hitting their greater rifts is purely based on if they find a conduit or not. So I have a feeling there's still going to be some tweaks to this.
hmm
Um, I'd be interested in seeing that. And I think this is something that's going to need a lot of testing. Um, because the conduit can it seems like it's either overwhelming or underwhelming so far.
hmm
So, um,
Yeah.
man, 'cause I always love getting the conduit, and I don't care if it's 15 seconds or 30 seconds. So we'll see. We'll see how
hmm
that goes. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how that works out.
Yeah, and they are making some other changes so that way, like the damage doesn't get buffed by the power conduit. So it's
Hmm.
like that power combo is gone. Um, and
Yeah.
then also commented some other things that they're putting in place so that way they're not required. They have like they're calling them safeguards. One of the things is that Guardians take 75% reduced damage from conduits in greater rifts.
Mm.
In order to go and help that. So that way they're really kind of going straight in for um, this is for clearing mobs. It's not for Rift Guardians. If you want to go through and blow away a Rift Guardian, that's more going to be the power pylon. But hopefully, excuse me again, with the kind of like the Rift redesign, that it's being such a smaller portion of it. Obviously, the people that are going for rank 1 are still going to be going and flipping maps until they can go through and get, you know, instead of going through and flipping maps till I get power pylon conduit so I can go and attack the Rift Guardian and spawn it around it. Now I'm just going for a power. Now I'm just going for a power pylon. Don't really care about the conduit pylon for killing the Rift Guardian anymore.
Yep.
Some other things like that, because even if it only takes a minute out of your 15, getting the power pylon and being able to kill it in 20 seconds as opposed to a minute is still going to be that 40 seconds that's going to make or break your rift. So
Yep.
it's just some of those things that as soon as they fix one problem area, the second problem area on the list is now going to move up, because it's not
Yep.
just like this is the one singular problem, and once we get rid of that, it's all golden. There is just a list of things that you have to go through, and it's just kind of like what's the level of difference between number 1 and number 2. Can we remove number 1 and then that number 2 like isn't as bad, and won't shift things as greatly?
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see, because obviously
That's a good point.
yeah, because people going for the top spot are always going to be going for the top spot, and they're always going to be gaming every single mechanic that they can. But if you're just going for like your personal best, and might only get you like rank 25 or 30, or maybe not even in the top 100, you won't feel as pressured to try and do those same mechanics. You don't care about having to go through and be like, oh, there's a conduit pile. Let me leave that, and I'll spawn the boss over here. That type of thing.
Yep. Cool.
hmm
I like it.
Yep.
We'll
And
see
then
how
in
that
one of
plays
the other,
out.
yeah, and then one of the other one of the other comments that he made in that thread, he also plugged the Westmarch workshop, which he was
Oh,
on.
did he? I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Oh, yeah. Uh,
Nice.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thanks.
Yep. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, that was one of the interesting things. One of the other things is that I'm just gonna go out there and say I
Called
guess I,
it.
I called it. I half called it at least.
Called it.
Yeah, it was John Yang went on to talk about some of the discrepancies in the Demon Hunter items. The Hunter's Wrath, the one that buffed your generators and spinders. It was one of those that was just kind of like, if this is just like kind of like a direct buff to Unhallowed Essence, to maybe kind of help it catch up a little bit to Natalia's. But if it doesn't affect Crider Shot, is a direct answer to Crider Shot, kind of killing the vibe of the build, you know. And then we had someone in the chat last time that went through and said, yeah, the new belt, um, does not make it so that way, or does sorry, that the new belt does not buff Elemental Arrow when used with Crider Shot. And he went through and said that this is an intended change, that this belt is basically just there to try and give a damage bonus to your generators, um, as well as increase your hatred generation, and it's not meant to buff Elemental Arrow. They acknowledge that the wording is a little funny, because it's the same wording that Unhallowed Essence has that does apply to Elemental Arrow, and they'll change it to say instead of hatred generators, primary skills. So your evasive fire, entangling shot, all those things is going to
like
go
that.
through an effect. Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to not have to only use, because I will play Demon Hunter next season, whether or not it's my main.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to not have to use Crider Shot.
Yep, and we'll have to see if that, along with the new bow that makes it so the multi-shot attacks faster with the reduced resource cost, will be competitive. Because that belt by itself, with the increased hatred generation and the increased damage on your generator, I don't think will be enough to really close the gap completely between ball lightning and multi-shot. But we'll see the combination between the bow and the belt, how that works in.
Yeah.
And
so I was looking at the solo leaderboards on the PTR, and I understand it's only been a week or whatever since the PTR has been going on, but I would say, and I like briefly looked at all the solo demon hunters, I would say 95% of them were using that new bow. What is it? So it
Yang's
makes
recurve.
multi shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Yang's recurve, which basically makes multi shot 40% faster, and then adds resource cost reduction, which is
Huge.
yeah, it's huge.
40% resource cost reduction on
on
the
multi
bow
shot.
alone.
Yeah. So when you're dropping multi shot and you're not losing as much resources, like that bow is awesome. And I've been seeing about, I want to say about 95% of the solo demon hunters. I didn't really look that far into the teams or anything like that, but they were all using Yang's recurve. So,
and if anybody doesn't get the correlation, John Yang's recurve,
it's pretty sweet.
Yep. Was going through.
He made that BI best in slot for a reason.
Well, I mean, Unhallowed Essence was intended to be like the multi-shot build, and then it's like the only people that use it with ball lightning. It's like,
yeah,
what's going on here? Something's not right. But
yeah, they needed to do that, and I'm glad they did, because I think I said it before. I just didn't find the Crider Shot fun to use with that build. So
yeah, and earlier I said I half called it because the wraps of Celerity are intended to work with Elemental Arrow. And so that one is going to be changed so that way it will work. If you have Crider Shot or Spines of Seething Hatred and you're using Elemental Arrow or Chakram, you will get that. Those bracers are just intended to be a flat, defensive item, so that way you take reduced damage to try and address a little bit of the squishiness that the demon hunters have. So that way, that one is intended if you still want to use the ball lightning build or using anything with Crider Shot. Those bracers are still for you. You can still use them, and Elemental Arrow will go through and proc the damage reduction.
Ooh, I am muted.
Oh, there we go.
Of course.
Yeah, you're back. I was wondering what was going on there.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I was reading clan chat. I was somewhere else.
Hey, Stutter, what's going on, man? Nice beard. You like it? I actually just got it trimmed. Got it cleaned up a little bit there.
We were talking about this. My goal in life is to get a 9-ball beard.
You want a 9-ball beard? I'll just save. I'll save my trimmings and mail it to you, so that way you can have like a legitimate 9-ball beard.
There we go. I like it. Yeah, sweet. So
done deal.
DH changes coming. They're gonna be great.
They are going to be great, and I wish that the hammered. I actually no. I was gonna say I wish that the hammered-in build didn't exist, so that way I could play a demon hunter next season, like I always want to, of course.
You can still play
one.
But
I don't want the hammer didn't build to not exist because I want to play something. I'm good. I'm okay. I know what I'm talking about. I'm happy. I'm gonna play Hammered In all over again. Hammer Seder Din. I don't know. I don't even know. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So, let's talk. So we last week we only got through a portion of the patch notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got really in depth with the class changes and the spell changes, the skill changes. Um, yeah. So let's finish them up. You want to
All
finish them
right.
up?
Yeah, we have to touch on like the adventure mode, rifts in the new zone, right?
Yes.
All right. I can go through, hit up real quick some of the changes to like adventure mode. We have like the details. I think that we briefly went through on this last week, but in adventure mode, now there's only one bonus act in your game when you start it up, but completing it, it will move to another act. So that way you can go through and finish all 5 of the acts, and then you'll get, then it will get you the bonus Heraldric cache. And in those Heraldric caches are legendary mats that are used for the cube recipes, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. They also went through and made some changes. The little ping locator now appears a minute after 1 minute instead of 5 minutes, so it's easier to go through and find the objective that you're looking for. Um, Obviously, keystones are removed. Realm of Trial keys have been removed. They're all gone because you can just go through and pick what it is that you want. But one of the interesting changes is that you can only upgrade your legendary gem if you complete the rift in time. So you can't just go through, pick a really high rift that you have no chance of actually clearing in time, taking it slowly, eventually clearing it like after 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long it goes through and takes you, to then go and upgrade your gem. So if you don't make the rift in time, unfortunately the Rift Guardian's drops is the only thing that you get out of it. No upgrades, no gem upgrades or anything like that. So it's like kind of that sucks. They are increasing blood shard drops as well as the number of guaranteed legendary drops, um, from Greater Rift 42 and 50 respectively. So once you hit Greater Rift 42, you should notice a pretty stark uptick in the number of blood shards that you get. And then also once you start hitting Greater Rift 50, you'll notice an uptick in the number of legendaries that you're getting, like the guaranteed legendaries, the base number.
Yep.
Um, and then I think one of the final big changes is just the whole Uber event. The key wardens drop infernal machines instead of keys. All existing keys are going to be converted into the machines, and then they also will only drop if the player is present in the same area. So now, beforehand, people were going off into groups. Everyone was hitting a key warden, killing it, and then doing like the little like hop, skip, jump thing into other people's games in order to go and pick them up. Now everyone has to be present in order for the key to drop. There's still the benefit of playing in a group because if the key drops for one person, drops for everybody. So you're still going through and completing Ubers at 4 times the rate that you were beforehand. You're now just not only getting the speed advantage of killing all of the key wardens faster.
Yep. Which is still nice. I mean, yeah, you're still gonna if everyone's there, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
kill them like super fast. So I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was muted again for a second. I was like,
Oh, nope,
crap, what did I
you're
just
there.
do?
You're there. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What is it? Some minor changes to crafting. There's no longer magic or rare recipes no longer drop, so there's no more of the like Archon shoulders and such. I think those are all just now going to be baked in. Either the recipes are being removed or they're just automatically learned by the blacksmith. I'm not sure how exactly that works. When I was on, I didn't pay attention to the blacksmith to see what it was that he was giving me. Um,
I didn't
Certain,
either, to be
yeah,
honest.
the legendary and set items no longer require legendary crafting materials. They now require the act specific crafting materials instead of Forgotten Souls. So it's
Man, those things are gonna
again,
be so important.
yeah, especially for those builds that might still be able to work in like Ogchilds or something along those lines. It's
Hmm.
you're gonna have to go through and do that. Also, the Kane's sets bonuses were changed. Did they remove the experience bonus from those sets?
I saw they removed them, or they changed it, but I didn't see how they removed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just all the patch note says is that they have more relevant affixes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't checked. I haven't checked.
Yeah, I unfortunately that was another thing I did not check myself when I was going through and playing around for a
Yeah.
little bit.
So
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, there was some other things they nerfed to Jailer. So well, I guess they nerfed and they didn't. The damage was reduced, but the duration of the root is increased. But they also have increased the cooldown between casts of Jailer between mobs in the same pack.
yeah.
Yep. The poison enchant mobs now they share a cooldown for using the ability, so that way they'll only cast one set of the poison bombs at once instead of like going and casting two sets and then a third and then another one. Yeah. Is I believe the Waller affix. They no longer summon. They can no longer summon a wall within 3 inches of another wall or 3 yards of
Thank
another
you.
wall. Yeah, that's how I lost my last demon hunter in season 3 was because I got walled in. I had
And you literally can't move sometimes.
yeah, because I had a champion and an elite, and they kind of like did the corral wall, and then a whole bunch of the other walls spawning inside the corral and making it impossible for me to move.
Yep. That's that's it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
not
And
fair.
yeah, they did a whole bunch of other ones, just cleaning up some of the other fixes. I think one that people won't like is the damage inflicted by reflex damage has been increased. I don't know why. That's always been an incredibly painful one, and it's going to be going back to being painful again.
Yeah, but it goes along with this. The next one though
Hmm.
is that only one can reflect damage at a time,
Yeah.
um, which is going to be nice because I don't think you're like even my ZDPS Witch Doctor had the chance of getting one shotted just because they were all reflecting at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I think hopefully it'll offset each other somewhat
Hmm.
and not be crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
So
yeah. Fire chains, the damage radius was decreased. They kind of changed a lot of the mechanics around the armor scavenger, so that way, it won't be as annoying. So you won't sit there and attack it and just see, block, 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 and not take any damage, and all of a sudden the armor breaks and then he's dead in 2 hits. Um, let's see. The corrupted angels also now can't dash over impassable terrain. So they actually have to follow like proper pathing, like your character does. So just a bunch of other like little ones,
hmm
little changes here and there.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
I think yeah, that's a pretty good summary. Like yeah, there's a lot of little changes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like well, and speaking of those changes, so like the little changes, there's also that post on Reddit that they were tracking undocumented changes, which I
Hmm.
thought was really interesting. So people could submit changes that they found, and if you guys find any that aren't on this list, just go to Diablo 3 Reddit. Actually, it's just the Diablo Reddit, and check out undocumented change or patch 2.3.0 PTR undocumented changes. And there's a ton of interesting ones in here, like because in the patch notes they didn't announce the Uber bosses. They can actually drop up to 3 organs at once. There's now a bandit shrine that can spawn goblins. There's They did get rid of the boss bounties last patch, and those are back. And they spawn a chest with loot at the end when you kill them.
So now, whenever you kill a boss, you get resplendent chest.
Oh, is it resplendent?
And apparently, it's equivalent to a resplendent chest.
Nice. I
When
like
it's
that.
the boss bounty.
Okay.
But it's called, I think it's like a diabolical chest instead.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So there, I mean, there's a lot of little ones. Like the one of them that I thought was really interesting. There's a purple goblin now named Snitches. So he has Jailer, and he can now spawn trash mobs. Um, there's a lot of little things like this that I like that they're introducing. I don't know that if you guys are interested in the full list, like I said, head to Reddit and look it up. There's a lot of really good changes, and that they're still expanding on it. So, um, yeah.
I was what is it? Leviathan and Jace were actually having a conversation about the bandit shrine that you mentioned,
Oh yeah.
about on going on to Torment 10 and then equipping Nemesis bracers and clicking on a bandit shrine, and it's now like, will you die or will you get rewarded? It's apparently it's pretty interesting. It's a lot of fun.
So did they try it?
Oh yeah, that's what they were having a conversation about how much of a rush it was, trying to
That's
go
awesome.
through and kill the goblins while an elite pack's chasing you around.
That's pretty sweet.
Hmm.
I I don't think I'd be ready for that quite yet.
Yeah. There is some other undocumented changes, like elite packs are dropping progress orbs and normal rifts.
Yes.
But apparently they're a different color.
Yeah, it's like a tan.
Yeah, so I don't know if that is intended, because remember they dropped the progress orbs last PTR, but it was quickly removed because it wasn't intended. So I am wondering, is this going to be something that they want to do? Because
Hmm.
before, when Leviathan and I were talking about it, it didn't seem like it was a good use of the mechanic, because when you're in a rift, the difference between running like a T6 rift versus greater rifts is that I'm killing all of these mobs, and everything that I kill is a chance at having loot drop, with
Yeah.
the increased chance of the legendaries dropping while inside a rift. So it was kind of counterintuitive to you know kill fewer enemies and progress faster with the progress orbs than the whole point of the rift of going and killing mobs in order to get stuff. But now I guess with the super upped chance of being able to go and have like the quickly refarmable Torment 10 rifts, you know, maybe that's like the trade-off with that. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see if this is actually an intended change, or if it's something that is still like they're tweaking and is in progress. Something else coming down the line. Who knows?
So do you like that they save like because there's a lot of little changes in here. Do you like that they save them all for a big patch like 2.3, or do you wish that they would introduce more of these um, intermittently?
I am 100% okay with them saving it not for big patches, but for different seasons.
Okay, I
Yeah,
can
it
see
kind of,
that.
this,
I don't.
again,
Yeah, you're right. I don't like them introducing them in the middle of a season.
yeah, it's just kind of goes back to keeping the legitimacy of the competition of the
Yep.
season itself, by even going through and fixing minor bugs and stuff like that, of just, you know, if it's not completely game breaking, leave it till the end of the season so that way everyone can benefit from it in the quest for number one. And
Hmm.
then you can fix it and not have to worry about it next season.
Yep. I can see that. I can see that. But it doesn't necessarily need to be saved for like, and I know like 2 point 2.2 point 2 or whatever. I don't know why I'm trying to blank with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last content patch or the last patch, uh, they still introduce some of these little things, but there's always with the big patch, and I guess it is the same with every game. Is
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be a lot more of these little changes, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. And
Oh, two more of them that I did want to point out is the transmuting the puzzle ring.
oh yeah,
If you put it in the cube, it opens a portal to the vault, and if you transmute a bovine bardic, it opens a portal to the not the cow level. I
yeah,
don't know what portal it is, but it's not the cow level.
not the cow level.
Um, so I'm excited to see what other little things like that they have hidden in here.
Hmm.
Um, and if there are, I mean, I would hope there are other ones. Like I wonder if there's like some crazy transmutation that you like have to put everything in the right order, and it's going to take like a year for people to find out.
Yeah,
They would probably find it out in like the data mining, but still.
yeah, that's going to be like the one side of it. Is unfortunately with data mining, if
I
any
know.
of the information is on the client side of the which for a game like the way that Diablo is built, the information is going to be on the client side. They can go through, figure it out, and see all the recipes that exist. The only
Yeah.
thing that Blizzard could do is create 100 recipes and only 15 be active. But people will all kind of like know what they are. They might not know what strings attach to what to see what you have to do. They'll know all the end results, but they might not know what's required in order to make them.
It would just be really cool if they could somehow hide some of that. Like I'm thinking, and the reason I was thinking about that is because I immediately go to the jetpack for Grand Theft Auto 5. Is
Hmm.
like there's still people that are trying to solve the jetpack. Um, I guess I don't know if they're still doing it. They might have. I haven't kept up with it in the past 6 months or so, but like people spent like over a year trying to figure out if there was something under the main mountain in the game to see if there's like a some way to get underneath the mountain to get a jetpack that they thought was in there because of all these alien signs and things like that. And so I don't know, man. It'd be really cool to see things like that in this game. But
Hmm.
yeah, I completely spaced on data mining.
Yeah, there definitely is that kind of exploration and just trying new things and getting it right or wrong that is lost in like the age
Yeah,
of data mining that you can't really it kind of sucks. If I was a developer, I mean not even as a developer, but especially if I was a developer because it sucks for me now that me just wanting to keep up with the information in the game, I'm
yep,
going to be exposed to data mining. There's no way that I
yep,
could get around it. So I'm not really going to be surprised by anything. You can't put any like little tiny things in there. Like the biggest thing that we got was the cow level, because that was something that they had like little tiny strings and such in there, but it kind of like was glossed over, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, it's like this is not the cow level. It was a huge, fun little event that we could go through and play.
so maybe they're
Um,
doing something like that. I don't
yeah,
know.
I do want to go back and say Blaine 8723 did go through and say that Nevilis has confirmed that the progress orbs and rifts is an intended
Oh,
change.
good, good, good.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yep. So that
Awesome.
is definitely interesting. I would like to see how that plays out. Or that's one of those questions I'd like to ask, a developer. Kind of like the reasoning behind adding the progress rifts into the rift or like regular rifts. When I guess like kind of like the difference between running a regular rift and a greater rift is just you kill mobs for more chance of legendaries. It's kind of like your farming set, but then now that you are kind of like speeding it up. But someone else was saying that it seems that killing elites uh, doesn't give as much progress. That could make sense if they were saying that killing an elite doesn't give as much progress on the bar, but then once you pick up the orbs, it gives you the same progress on
Hmm.
the bar that it used to. So it's kind of like one of those ones that it's kind of like maybe if that's the case that it's just psychological. The progress orbs aren't giving you any additional progress in the rift. It's just equal to what it was before. Just now you pick up the orbs, so you think that you did something better.
Yeah,
A
I could
complete
see that.
psychological change. That'd be interesting if that is the case.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Huh. Oh, orbs. That'll be
Oh,
fun.
orbs. Yep.
Oh, orbs. So, yeah. Again, if you guys want to look at that all that list, head over to Reddit and check that out. It's pretty cool. Diablo Reddit.
Mm-hmm. And some of the last few things is we have the new zone, Ruins of Sescheron.
Yeah, we skipped over that.
Yeah, and what was it, 2 episodes ago with the patch preview showed
Mm-hmm.
some of the screenshots of it, and the place is awesome. You
Oh
you
man,
have
it's
to
fun.
go and explore in there in order to get Kanai's cube in the first place. So everyone, when this patch actually goes live, everyone's going to be running to Act 3. Act 3 in the Ruins of Sescheron is going to be everybody's favorite act.
Yep.
Um, just because you have to go in there in order to get the cube, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, in order to unlock all the wonderful things that goes and unlocks. I guess you get the unlock to unlock things. That
Yep.
yeah, I could word that differently in the future.
No, I like that wording.
um,
It's great.
some of the other things that I find interesting that I've seen pictures is they're apparently going back to one of the old Diablo staples of secret rooms. Someone posted a screenshot that they were just going and kind of like whirlwinding around, and they broke through one of the walls on the edge of the map and went
What?
to a secret area that's not listed on that's not shown on the map. And there was a resplendent chest in there, and other people kind of like came and chimed in to confirm that they found similar things in their games.
Uh,
If anybody remembers, like in like my favorites was Diablo 2. How some of the bloodstained walls you could click on and would take you into a secret room in the jail that had a bunch of chests and bookcases with scrolls, and
I
sometimes they'd have
forgot about that.
tomes and such. It was fun.
I like that. I forgot about that.
Yep. So that's another little nod back to some of our heritage as Diablo players.
Diablo 2.
Hmm.
Love it. So yeah, Runes of Sescheron. So that man, and I was trying for the life of me to remember the final little zone in there where like the throne. Dude, I cannot
The
remember what it's called.
the what is it? The Throne of the Immortal King.
Is that what it is? I can't.
Hmm.
I cannot remember. That place is so freaking awesome. Like the way that it just looks, and
Hmm.
I know the feel of it is just. I remember like the first time I went through there last week. I just hung out in there for like a good 5 minutes, just like covering every inch of it, just wanting to
Hmm.
see all of it. And man,
It
good job.
yeah. It's amazing from the just the artistic standpoint. Like
Yeah.
going
Oh,
through,
it's so
check it out.
good.
Just go walk around, kill everything, and then just take a moment to just walk around and appreciate how much detail
Yeah.
went into like everything in the zone.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. You're right. The zone in general is just so detailed.
hmm Beautiful place, very
Beautiful.
very well done. And
It reminds me of Act 5 Diablo 2. Was it um it was right after you left town. Was it the Frigid Highlands? Maybe. I think it was like it's kind of like a long map, kind of snowy, and I don't know. That's about all that it I think it was the Frigid Highlands in Diablo 2. Just like a long map, snowy, cold feeling, and that's the only thing that I was really able to draw the parallels to, but gave me little nostalgia again.
hmm
So yeah, good map though, good zone. I'm excited that it's in there now. No more speculation on when it's coming.
Yeah, let's see. Saying that there's apparently John Yang just gave a new update uh, on some set changes. I'll have to go through and
Oh
find that.
really?
Yeah, I'll have to go through and find that real quick.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, you want to go through and start talking about Kanai's Cube?
Let's do it. Yeah. So actually, we wanted to start off because I know last week we promised um, because we did get an email last week, and we kind of thought this would be a good segue into the whole topic of Kanai's cube. So Victor, um, from Tahiti. Uh, so God, it's exciting that we have like people from all over the world that are listening to us. So Victor from Tahiti, excited that you're listening. That's pretty cool. But yeah, he sent in just wondering what the best setup for the cube for his hardcore tune would be. He's looking particularly like how can he maximize his DPS while playing hardcore. Um, he was thinking, equipping his best Countess Julia's amulet, and then, maybe putting in like an old piece of jewelry that would add a second immunity in there. Um, and then he's theorizing about, putting ice climbers in there. Um, and then he's just trying to find a way to maximize his DPS while playing in Tahiti, because of the latency. Um, so he was wanting to look into, what is the best weapon slot for the cube, for jewelry and, things like that. So just want to start the discussion off with that email because I feel like this email or is going to be answered throughout this whole discussion. So I'm not sure we'll directly answer this email like saying, hey, this is what you should use. But Victor, hopefully some of the things that we're going to talk about here in a second will give you some idea of what you should use because it also depends on the class that you're playing. And I'm not sure if you indicated that in your email. Um, but we'll hopefully tackle some of it. And if you have any further questions, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to talk about the cube now, or do we want to? I know you just posted the changes.
Yeah, it's just some of the John Yang just popped in and just wanted to go through and share some changes that they are going to be coming with the next PTR patch to Witch Doctors. They're changing the new Witch Doctor set, the Spider set, so that way the creature skills, now the buff to all like the creature damage is also going to apply to Locust Swarm, and the damage bonus was increased from 500% to 800%.
Oh yeah.
They're also making the Helltooth harness redesigned so that way Wall of Death is not the only thing that applies necrosis. Grasp of the Dead also applies it, so you have multiple sources to put it in. The damage was reduced from 2,500% weapon damage per second to 1,000, but also increases damage taken from all sources by 15%. So that should be a nice party buff. And then also, the 6-piece bonus is no longer having to apply necrosis on an enemy to make sorry, let me start over. The 6-piece bonus before was if you applied necrosis to an enemy, that enemy took 300% increased damage from certain skills. Now it's when you cast the spell, or casting Wall of Death gives you the 300% damage bonus as a buff on your character. So it's more rewarding, and
Yeah.
it also now can stack up to 3 times. The buff lasts for 10 seconds. The cooldown for Wall of Death I think it's like 10 seconds, and the set can reduce it down to 8, I think it was. Something along those lines. But, it's so it's just one of those, going through and casting it multiple times will refresh the stacks. So you can run around with that 900% damage bonus, for as long as you can keep hitting enemies with or if you just keep casting it, you'll keep refreshing it to try and get it back up there because the Helltooth set was just terrible compared to what the Witch Doctors already had. Just some of the new items that they had to buff, or even just the cube being able to buff some of the pet builds were making them insane with the fetishes. And they are now also adding in like a one-handed spear which buffs zombie charger and a two-handed staff that buffs acid cloud. So they're going through and still playing around with some things in there. They realize that Witch Doctors still need a lot of love, so they're still going through and doing some changes there.
Alex Bono said, or I think that's how you say his name, says Blizzard watches Westmarch Workshop confirmed.
Confirmed.
So
Yep.
how's that for up to the minute news?
Yeah, there you go.
While we're on the show, we're
Some of
releasing.
some of the fans we were going through and pointing out, it's typical that Blizzard goes and releases new information on Wednesdays, just for the show. Now they're actually going through and making updates while the show is live. So
We appreciate that. So if any Blizzard employees just want to come on and announce it for the show, like while they can say it on the show, and that would be cool too.
yeah, we
So,
had Wyatt on once.
yeah,
Definitely would
see?
welcome him back. If anybody else,
Yeah.
John, Don, Josh, anybody, you're all more than welcome to come on.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks Sharpie for calling that out for us and let us know that was out there. So that's exciting. More Witch Doctor changes, giving me more reason to thinking about maining a Witch Doctor next season. We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
yeah.
But yeah, going back to the whole topic of conversation that we intended for the show, we wanted to go through and save as much time as we could because Kanai's cube.
Yes.
So let's get the boring stuff out of the way. You can use it. It was like what 500,000 gold. You can transmute gems from one type to another.
Yep.
And it's 500,000 gold because you have to buy a particular mat from Squirt the Peddler in Act 2.
Yes.
And you throw that in with your gems, and it will allow you to transmute them over to the different type. That's something that's nice. We mentioned that you can open up the portals to the vault and not the cow level using it. There are some other more interesting ones that allow you to, you can reforge an item, allowing you to completely re-roll the stats. It also will re-roll whether it's a legendary or an ancient. So that way you can go through, congratulations, you finally found your Kreider shot, but it's crap. Now you can go through and re-roll it to try and make it ancient or be better.
Yep.
Do be careful because it will re-roll an ancient back to a normal legendary. But depending upon how much mats you've saved up, you just keep doing it, doing it, and doing it, and doing it.
And also be careful because it is expensive.
Yeah.
So it costs 50 Forgotten Souls and 5 of each of the legendary crafting mats. So
it will take some farming.
Yes.
There's also a way you can convert set items. So if you have, say, Marauder's gloves, and you're trying to get that Marauder's helm, you can use it to convert that extra set of gloves, and it will turn into a random piece from the set. So that way, you can try and, if you've just been getting, one of the set pieces over and over and over, and you just cannot find that one piece, you have another little aspect there. Still RNG, but it helps mitigate RNG. You're not being given, this is just kind of directly responding to player requests that, it's like, oh my gosh, I've been playing, I'm like Paragon 200 and I just cannot get the set chest to drop. I can't complete my set until I go through and do that. Or I'm having to use the Ring of Royal Grandeur. I can't use Focus and Restraint because I just can't get my last piece of the set to drop. The convert set item now gives you a tool so that way you can better go in and target farm that particular area. You can still drop tons of blend shards at Kandala, but you can go through and now kind of like continually re-roll items to try and get the one that you want. There's other, I guess, maybe unintended, but one of the things that people have been doing, the mat cost for converting the set items is much lower from the reforging the legendary items. And if you're doing something like Focus and Restraint that's only 2 pieces, you can basically use it as a pseudo reforge because it will completely reroll all the stats in the item in the chance of it going and being an ancient. So you can reroll like a Focus and it has a 50-50 chance of becoming a Focus again and then your little chance of it becoming ancient. So it's something that you can kind of, re-roll as a cheaper way of going and re-rolling those to potentially, finish up all of your ancients for like the 2-piece sets.
Yeah, and so actually, Lala sent in an email. So I'll go ahead and talk about that really quickly. So she actually sent in and was talking about that. Because obviously that's, it could potentially be a problem. So if you have a focus and restraint and you're wanting to get an ancient focus or an ancient restraint, you just keep re-rolling like, back and forth until you get, you can re-roll each different set item until you get the one that you're looking for. If you're looking for like a 2-piece set. So she actually sent in options, that they could do to combat this issue. And so she gave 4 options, and she said one, they could make 2 sets, like 2-piece sets, as re-rollable. She said there could be a few really unlucky people who get 15 or 20 focuses and don't have a restraint, so that could be a problem there. She also said they could make a set piece only rerollable once. So, but that could make it harder to get that final 6-piece, 6th piece of your set that you're looking for. And then she also said they could have a lockout system. So, they could. I'm not sure if I understand what. So,
Well, some people are also going through and commenting that apparently it's already been commented on that they're going to fix that.
oh, awesome. So cool. What are they doing?
It's just I'm not sure. I'm trying to find the comment myself, but I can't
All right.
at the
So
moment. But it seems that they're already aware of that. That kind of like little exploit there, and that they will go and address it apparently.
awesome. Awesome.
Yep. So I'll have to go through and see about that one, how that
Well,
ends up playing out.
thanks for sending in the response anyway, Lala.
Mm-hmm.
she's really good
Yep.
about emailing us, so
Oh
we always
yeah.
appreciate her emails, and she's
Yep.
a good friend of the show. So
And
yeah.
yeah, just some other things that you can do with the cube. You can upgrade a rare item. It will upgrade it into a random legendary of the same item type. So if you take a rare bracer, you can turn it into a legendary bracer, and it just will roll randomly. I imagine that it will be weighted just the same as other legendaries are, so don't immediately go through and start, trying to farm yourself, a furnace or a calamity, by rolling rares into legendaries. But it just, there's a lot of these things are just, it's ways to further reduce your RNG. You have more ways to target farm something. This is kind of like people were wanting to say, I don't want to roll for one-handed weapons. I just want this specific one. I want Ezurath, or I want Reinhardt, or something along those lines. Now you can go and take it. You can spend blood shards at Kadala in order to try and roll your chance at one-hander, or you can go and farm up mats, and so you can take rare like one-handed swords, and roll them and cut down your what legendaries that you're rolling through, kind of reducing your RNG to target farm one specific space again. There are some other ones. What was it? Oh yeah, we mentioned this one briefly before. Remove level requirement. Uh, so that way you can take your max level legendaries and throw them in with a level 25 gem of ease, and then bam, you have a level 70 item with no level requirement. So let the level 10 twink duels begin.
Man, I keep muting myself. That's gonna be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so let's just go into that the brawling area and run our level ones. Just have all twinked out people.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sweet.
Yep.
No, it'll be cool though. That'll be nice because I like that they are giving us options to kind of power level ourselves
Hmm.
without needing power leveled by other people. I like that.
Yeah, because with that, it's going to be pretty easy to. You'll fully decked out level 1 character wearing level 70 gear, kick it up to Torment 8, 9, 10, whatever you feel comfortable with, and, go outside, kill one enemy, and instantly ding level 30.
Yeah. Yep. Just gotta
So,
be careful with those though, because it can quickly, like if you level up that fast, what people found is that if you're playing hardcore, you can die quickly because
mhm.
it the level just outclasses your gear that you have, which might not be as big of a deal if you have like all no.
It'll be funny going through. It's like, hang on, I'm out leveling. I have to drop it back down to Torment 6.
Seriously.
You know, yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
But the biggest thing that people are going up in arms and just crazy, and the massive game changer that just has everybody's talking, is the extract legendary power. We mentioned this one
Yes.
two episodes ago. With what was coming from the like the data mining as well as the patch preview, and it's just you have like 3 new passives, and those passives are legendary affixes, and obviously it still goes and ties back into the new act specific crafting materials that you get from doing bounties, but it allows you to go through and pull the affix from a legendary item, and then you can now equip that like you would a passive skill. You can have one for weapon, one for armor, and one for jewelry. And weapon is, obviously one-handed or two-handed weapons, but also applies to offhands. So your quivers, sources, and mojos,
Yep.
shields as well.
Yep. So then you have the weapon, and then so like everything else except for the jewelry slots, the amulet, the ring, and the 2 ring slots, everything else is considered armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then your jewelry is obviously rings and amulets.
Mm-hmm. Maybe,
So
maybe we'll get, like other piercings. Have like eyebrow piercing,
piercings,
nose piercing. I don't know.
belly
Belly
rings.
button ring. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
We'll,
there
we'll
you
get more
go.
pieces of the jewelry in there eventually. Can you imagine a barbarian running around with a belly button ring?
It was like, I mean, Diablo's got a nose ring, right? Like the
Yeah.
ring in the. There you go.
Asmodean has his nipples pierced.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
why don't the Nephilim get that?
Mm-hmm.
The piercing, the
That,
piercings of the Nephilim. That should have been our show title.
slightly off topic. That is one thing that I did ask like my DM once back in my D&D days. If I get my nipple pierced, can I wear an additional magic ring? Yeah, it's stupid,
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. I was
I'm
younger
sorry.
then.
So
Um,
you now you're saying you wouldn't get your nipples pierced? That what like just because you're older? Come on.
no comment.
You already have them pierced?
No,
Hey yo.
no, I never did that. Um, anyways, moving on.
Anyway, that was
Anyways,
awkward.
yeah, awkward moment on the show there. Thank
And
you,
great.
thank you, Chris.
Awkward and great.
There we go. Um, but yeah, just it's now this is what is just changing everything because you have so many combinations. It's like having 3 extra Ring of Royal Grandeurs almost.
Yeah.
I can now go through and have a Blade of Prophecy in a furnace, and like the effects of the furnace. I can have Focus and Restraint in Unity. I can have full 6-piece Unhallowed set, and then throw on. I'm trying to think of something that I would equip in one of those places, but I can't. But like, say I could equip, full Marauders, have Focus and Restraint, not care about Ring of Royal Grandeur, and still equip a
Cinder
Cinder Coat.
coat. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can just take those bonuses and extract it into the cube, and then through the cube equip the affix, so I can have the like the increased fire damage, or the
Yep.
I can have the plus 40% elite damage from the furnace, all this other stuff. It's just ridiculous, how much this really opens up and all of the
Yeah.
possibilities.
It just, yeah, like you said, it's the possibilities are honestly like, I mean, like there's a lot of them that people have found that are stronger than others, obviously, but like, man, they, I almost guarantee you that like the best builds or whatever haven't been found yet because there's so many possibilities. Like, man, there's because you have to like go through and look at all the legendary items that you used to not even consider because they weren't best in slot for like stats wise or something, or um, or that they were used up by a different set, a slot for the sets or something like that. Now like all those are possibilities, and um, man, there's just like now you have to go back through and look at all those because now they suddenly can be used again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other reason I like this is the completionist in me, which I think this will take a long, long time to do because it's expensive. But to um, extract the passives from all these items, it kind of gives you like a library within the game, like to where it shows you all of the items that you have collected, and then it grays out all the ones that you have not collected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to drive me nuts if there's still items that aren't great or that are grayed out,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be the hard part because it's not cheap to extract those passives. Um, I just like that because it gives you kind of like a museum feel of where you're like, well, I have collected this, um, but I have nothing to show for it unless I keep it in my stash.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. That's kind of exciting for me, but it doesn't really benefit your gameplay by any means. But it's another thing to kind of collect, which I'm a big fan of. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but I'm a big fan of collecting in games. Like the reason that I was hooked on WoW for so long, I was never a huge WoW player, but the reason it did hook me is because of collecting mounts and collecting pets. And so
Mm-hmm.
like anything like that within game is gonna hook me.
Yeah.
So
I would like it if it also went through and like showed like a little bit of lore, the flavor text behind all
that
the
would be really
items when
cool.
you, yeah. That that would then satiate my lust for the game. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't even know where to begin, going through and talking about it, because there's so many different things that you can do with the
Yeah.
cube. And
So oh sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, and like kind of like leave the floor open to you because you've been working on a little project here.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's kind of smaller, but uh, it literally is a little project. So what I did today, like before the show, because I wanted to give it some time to kind of uh, have it have give it let itself manifest on the PTR. Um, so obviously the PTR has only been open for a week, but what I thought it might be interesting to do is to just look at the solo leaderboards. And like I mentioned earlier, I've been looking at like I've been mentioning earlier, it's I've been looking at the leaderboards a lot lately in the PTR, and I understand it's only been a week, and like I said, there's probably going to be a lot of changes with the builds, and I don't think they've been, the best builds have been found quite yet, but um, so I looked at kind of scanned through them. I did quick scans for each class, like I didn't look at the top 100 and say okay, 95 out of 100 did this or whatever. I didn't look at that in depth, but I tried to find patterns of the passives that are being used the most, because one of the changes that they made with this patch is that you can actually um, it screenshots. So when you hit the leaderboards, it screenshots your character and like what you use, the items that you use, the skills that you used, the passive that you use, and so on. And it lets people see that. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it
mhm.
because it say, well, you can just copy my build and things like that. Um, but it's there. So whether you like it or not, it's there. Um, and so what I did is I looked through, to see, okay, what are people using? Um, and so I did find some patterns, and it would be, I thought it'd be kind of interesting. So I kind of made a list, and I thought it'd be interesting that we could kind of quickly go through this list. It's by no means complete. So, um, yeah, we could, I don't know. So I'll start off. So one of the, um, weapon wise, one of the biggest or most prominent weapons that I noticed kind of across three different classes, so the barbarian, the crusader, and the wizard, was the furnace. So
Yep.
a lot of people are using the furnace for that elite bonus. Um, and so particularly with the barb, crusader, and wizard, like crusader, I noticed they were often using a furnace and the new Johanna's argument combo. So is it
Johanna.
Johanna. Sorry, sorry, lore people. Um, so what the Johanna's weapon does is it basically just increases the Blessed Hammer attack speed by 100%. And so that just, um, like we talked about last week, it really gives a benefit to that new Crusader set. And so, um, so when you add the Crusader, or sorry, the Johanna's and the Furnace combo, um, whether or not one of them's in the passive slot and the other one's being used, that it's just such a powerful combo. And so I saw quite a few Crusaders using that combo, and then Wizard and Barber also using, or often using um, the furnace as well. Um, I saw hexing pants being used quite a bit, so the resource regeneration and the damage increase is awesome for an armor slot, because it's just a great general boost, just in general. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, do we want to go through each one of these individually, or like, do you want to touch on some?
Well, I mean, we can go through and just hit up, like some of the popular ones. And I also just wanted to point out like how cool that changes to the way that the leaderboards work. Because there's a lot of the top people in leaderboards, they like to take off all their gear before they log out, so it
Yeah.
updates them as just a naked character. They'll put some joke items
Yep.
on. There's no more hiding your strategies, your combos anymore. When you complete a rift, and you push yourself up to a new placement on the leaderboard, it takes a snapshot of everything:
Yep.
character, equipment, passives, everything you have equipped. So, you're basically everything is out there in the open.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how we got all the information from this feature on the PTR.
Yeah.
You know,
So
there.
I know a lot of people don't like it. Personally, I do like it because I feel like it continues to push the game. Yes, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to copy builds, but I also think that people are going to say, okay, this is the build that he's using. How can I make it better? And I think I'm sure that's what their mindset is with this.
Mm-hmm.
I would think. So yeah. But yeah, so some of the other ones, well, yeah, we can quickly go through these. So, I know a lot of the barbarians are using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Um, there's a lot of kind of across the board.
I want to say something real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We hit 100 viewers in.
Heyo.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a first time in a while, not counting Wyatt's episode. Obviously, Wyatt lended his fame to getting us over 100 for that particular episode. This is the first time we've been over 100 viewers in quite a while, so yay! Hey,
Yay.
the tiny little achievements. The Westmarch community is always growing, and it just makes me
Yeah.
happy being here since day one. Thank you to everyone, newcomers and old, in chat at the moment. And hey, Gabenator, there we go. And that, for anyone that doesn't know who Gabenator is, going through and mentioning that the snapshotting the leaderboard is way better for competition, because at that point there's no like secrets, hiding something in your lab about going through and doing stuff. And also now you can see, well, the reason why he got the higher grade of rift than me is because, he's got like 7 more levels on this particular gym. It just allows you to go through and see things.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I
Hmm.
definitely like it. So yeah, but yeah, so just we'll quickly fly through these. So some of the jewelry that a lot of people are using, Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, a lot of barbs are using that. A lot of classes across the board are using Convention Ring of the Elements. Um, there are also a lot of people are using Unities. That's kind of a given. We kind of predicted that one. Um, and then monks, there a lot of I think I saw almost everybody using Flying Dragon as either their main weapon or as one of their passives. So that wasn't really too surprising. Saw a lot of diggers from monks. Witch doctors, I saw almost everybody. I would say probably 80%, 80, 90% using SMK and Dagger of Darts combo. And then they were also using the Mask of Jerem and Carnival combo. So just really hammering that pet build away. Just got to get it. There were a lot of witch doctors using the Ring of Royal Grandeur. I saw a lot of cinder coats being used. A lot of for uh, wizards, a lot of Nilfers boasts that increase the meteor damage being used, and then a lot of Aether Walkers being used as well.
Hmm.
So that's a
Which,
super quick rundown of the biggest items that I
mhm.
noticed. Um, yeah, I thought it was interesting, and yeah, of course, like we said, this wouldn't be able to happen with if we couldn't didn't have those snapshots. So I
Mhm.
like this. I like that snapshot change a lot.
Yeah, then it's just well, it's nice. Obviously there's the people that will not like it because they have to give up their secrets for the people at the top of the leaderboard. But this is something that a lot of the more casual players that might not, they might not go to the class forums. They might not go to Reddit. They might not go out there and use the tools and information that's available to them in order to like better their own play or better their class. But they can see the leaderboard. They can go through and go and check, and it's like, well, what's this person doing? Oh, that's the legendary that they have equipped in their cube or whatever. Oh, maybe I should do that. And it's a
Yeah.
nice little thing that um, they can go and add on, you know, to their own experience that they can learn from, within the game without having to go outside. So it's I don't know. I'm a big fan of the change,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's some that people that will have something against it, and not saying that their arguments aren't valid. Everyone, has their own opinion, but I personally like it.
I also do. But yeah, I'm excited to see all the combinations that people are going to come up with this cube because um, man, there's so many possibilities, and we are seeing patterns right now, but um, because of this snapshot thing, we're gonna see patterns. I think throughout the whole right, there's gonna be metas throughout the whole season. During all the seasons, just because people are gonna say, "Hey, this is probably the best now because this top player is using it," and it's gonna always evolve. And I'm excited to see um, how the meta is affected by um, these combinations of all these passives because there's going to be consistencies at
Hmm.
any given point. Um, so it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like super excited of seeing some like strange combo out of nowhere. Like, oh, a demon hunter using the passive equipped from an Ingeom or something like that. Just something that no one would have expected, just coming out and blowing everything else out of the water. There's just some like weird combo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
hopefully it
That's
brings
what that's
up a
what
lot
I'm
of.
expecting. Because right now,
Hopefully,
go ahead.
oh no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because right now, Hot Streak, who's another Blizz Pro contributor, was mentioning in chat a lot of like um, the Kanai's Cube passive for weapon slots for most people is just Furnace. It's just like, oh well, nothing can really just compete with the furnace. I'll equip like the one weapon that gives me the passive for my ability or my set or the class that I'm going for, and then I'll equip the furnace for damage. And either flip it that way or another, and so that way it's just you're gonna go through and kind of, if we're going into that same problem we were before season 2 of just everyone uses a furnace, and there's nothing that you're gonna do about it. Then is we're going back to now everybody uses a furnace, either using it or having the passive equipped, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it would be nice to see something beat the furnace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, will they nerf it?
Will they do it?
Yeah. Will it blend? Will it nerf? Well, we'll see.
I think their kind of philosophy with that tends to be, how can we do it without nerfing it? Like, what can we
Mm-hmm.
put in its place? But I would like to see it
They were
have more than one possibility, right?
Yeah, they were doing a really good job with introducing new weapons, handcrafted specifically for sets or playstyles that were beating out the furnace. It had dropped down, completely from almost all the top builds, and but then now it's right as soon as you can equip, oh, you can just have a furnace strapped to your back and get the bonus. Now everybody has it, so it's interesting.
Yep.
It's like they fixed it and now it's broke again. Are they finally going to have to go through and nerf it? Do they just have to not allow furnaces to be cubable? Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, like I would love to see. I would love to, if you guys have some interesting combination ideas, like email them to us and let us know what you guys have been trying out. If it's similar to what's on the leaderboards, or if it's something um, completely out there. Like, I'm excited for builds like there's a lot of builds that are on Play Your Way Thursdays that are just really different um, than the things that we see regularly, like all on the top leaderboards. And so I'm excited to see, like you were saying earlier, just like the really weird builds. But yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
you guys have um, you know, any interesting combos that you're trying out, let us know. Westmarch Workshop at bluespro.com.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or
be really cool.
if you have like incredibly stupid combos that are going to have difficulties clearing Greater Rift 3, send them in as
Love them.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
I would love to see it. What was
Of
it like?
course.
Maximus, Nagel Ring, and something else. I don't know. Just just stupid pet build stuff. I'd like. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Gotta see it.
Yeah.
So, so another thing I really appreciate about the cube is that when they were first announcing all these changes with, like, you can reroll legendaries, like you can try to get the ancients, or um, you can trade in your gems. I was really worried that it was going to be um, like is overutilized the word that I'm looking for? I'm not sure. Um, but I really appreciate that uh, they've made it cost a price. Like 50 Forgotten Souls to reroll a legendary item is freaking expensive, and uh, you're gonna think twice if you really want to reroll that item, because I mean, like, to some people it's not that much, but like that's a lot. That's a lot of Forgotten Souls, and I really like that they're making a barrier to entry to
Hmm.
use these items.
Is it?
Um,
Yeah. Will it be that much of a barrier to entry? Because even though I mean, it obviously that is a huge investment, but we're also now, because of it, going to have a power creep, can do higher difficulties and get more drops.
yeah, no, yeah, it's not going to be, and I think that's a good point. Is it's not. I think it is a barrier to entry, but it's not so big to where, like, a casual player that plays, once every week or so is gonna miss out on this
Hmm.
because I mean, 50 Forgotten Souls. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
lot, but like, yeah. I mean, well, for me it is a lot because I feel like I'm always out of Forgotten Souls because I'm always re-rolling until I'm getting like that perfect item. But yeah, you're right. Like as you go up, it's not going to be quite as many. I did read on Reddit that someone was suggesting, and I found this as well by just playing the PTR just a little bit, is um, collect your death's breath because those things go so fast. Because it seems like almost everything on the cube is requiring these things.
Mm-hmm.
So everywhere you go, pick those suckers up because they're going to be needed. So I have a feeling those are going to be right along there with picking up legendaries.
Yeah, yeah,
So
they will be.
because as of now, I don't think there's anywhere to trade those in, like using like you can trade in veiled crystals for arcane dust, but nothing's going to trade in
Yeah,
those items for death's breath. So
keep
collect those suckers.
keep killing those elite packs.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Well, what is it? The odious collectors were also buffed to now drop Forgotten Souls. So maybe they'll drop multiple Death Breaths now as well. Who knows?
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
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 A lot of good cube changes coming. So if you guys have like like I said, any combinations, but if you guys have any questions on the cube and like, what are our thoughts about certain things or like how does it work, just let us know and we'll be happy to
hmm
talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to this is something that can build upon itself. This is just the first iteration of things that they can do with it. Every content patch or possible expansion down the road can just add more recipes of different things that you can do. They can go through and they can make a tier above ancient items that's only unlockable, through the cube. To
Hmm.
go through and increase the stats. They can go through and make it so that way you can craft on, you know, like set bonuses onto other items and stuff like that. There's just so many possibilities that they can do. This you can unlock a new Uber realm by putting all of the mats for a Hellfire amulet into the cube, and then going and fighting like the Uber or something. There's a lot of different stuff that can be done, and a lot of potentials that a mechanic like this unlocks. And I guess also speaking of the Hellfire amulet, you cannot cube the Hellfire amulet. I just figured
That's a good
I'd go
point.
through and point that out. There are certain things that are not doable. The
Yep.
Hellfire is one of them. The amulet, the hardcore only amulet that brings you back to life when you die,
Yep.
you cannot cube that one either. And apparently, the one for Leoric's crown is broken,
But not broken crown.
but not
See what
broken.
I
The
did
broken.
there?
I see. I
Oh.
what you did there.
Oh
I
man.
sees it.
Yeah, it is broken, but I think it
hmm
is intended to work. Leorix is intended to work, right?
Yeah, that one is intended to work. It's just not working.
Not working right now. But yeah,
Yep.
like you said, there are some that are not going to work.
hmm
So, yep.
My dream cube would be to cube Cool Ranch Doritos with pizza.
That might be the greatest idea that
That
anyone's ever said.
that is a very interesting idea, and I hope that the developers at Blizzard and at PepsiCo are listening. Or I
Yeah.
guess Yum Foods, owner of Pepsi,
If
the
you guys,
parent company
so
there.
I have to say this, if you guys don't watch the live show, sometime try to make the effort to come watch the live show because I feel like clan chat or not the
But
clan, not clan chat,
yeah,
Twitch chat
uh-huh.
makes such
You're doing
like
it.
you're doing it, clam chat. Um, I said it. Like they make this place so entertaining. Like someone earlier tonight in the pre-show asked me, um, what my first like, what would I do if a group of clowns attacked me? Like, that's amazing. That's an amazing question. So
hmm
like, yeah, if you guys can ever catch the live show Wednesday nights, uh, wow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
The math, you're
Come,
doing it.
I'm doing it. I
hmm
was a math major, fun fact. I'm not that
Well,
great at math, but
given that your
uh,
career in finances, I would hope so.
there it is.
hmm
But yeah, come check out the live show because it's fun. And
Yeah, there was like a 30-minute conversation about Gamescom and expansion, rumors and stuff going on there.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, there's a bunch of interesting stuff that goes on in chat that we can't even get to, or otherwise the episode will be like 5 hours. 2 hours
and it's
is
not,
already long enough.
yeah, and it's not even
Uh,
interesting for people who are only listening. So
mhm.
when you're only talking, responding to the clam chat, then it's not as good for the audio guys. So come check it out.
Yeah,
But
and there was absolutely no conversation about Jar Jar Binks in the chat at all at any point
yeah,
in time.
nope, nope, there's not.
Hmm.
So anything else on the cube that we want to touch on?
I guess not right now. I'll still see like more developments and combos and
Yeah,
such that go through
this
and come out.
that's a good point because this is gonna be a conversation that we're gonna talk about for
It'll be
the
like it'll be
next.
the cube combo of the week.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um, and just I was mentioning there's a whole lot of talk about Gamescom that I do want to mention before we move on to the community feedback section. Uh, for those that don't know, Blizzard's has officially announced like their presence at Gamescom. One of our writers over at BlizzPro, Crow, did a wonderful write-up about it and some of his speculation on what it means, because a lot of us had a lot of high hopes and expectations for Expansion 2 being announced at Gamescom, but Blizzard is not showcasing Diablo at all at Gamescom. They've got Hearthstone, they got Legacy of the Void, Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, and World of Warcraft, but nothing about Diablo
Yeah.
whatsoever. And what a bunch of the writers were going through and talking about this over on BlizzPro is why would they have playable game stations for World of Warcraft at Gamescom? Like 6.2 is like the last major content patch. There's no more raids. Warlords of Draenor is basically over at this point. It's to me and a lot of other people it was over a long time ago. But I mean this is it now. It's no more content. You know, it's either that there's going to be something else patch 6.2 and they're just not being honest and they're hiding something, or they're going to be making some sort of expansion announcement for World of Warcraft. Now, it seems strange because they've always used BlizzCon as their main kind of like uh, podium for announcing big expansions and such. But 2 years ago, they announced Diablo at Gamescom, because otherwise they'd have just like too much to go on at BlizzCon. They would go through and they were showcasing Warlords of Draenor, they were announcing Overwatch, it was all this other stuff. So they had to spread out the announcements. I mean, even Hearthstone before that was announced at PAX. So they've now been kind of working out their shell um, of announcing titles only at BlizzCon. So this might be something that people are going through and kind of speculating. You know, Warlords of Draenor is very short, very ill-received, and they need to get the next expansion out ASAP. So announcing it sooner allows them to pump it out quicker, as opposed to going through and waiting until BlizzCon. Uh, for obviously for topics relating to the show and Diablo side of things, this means that, well, one, we're definitely not getting an expansion announced at Gamescom, but we still could get an expansion announcement at BlizzCon. I know
Ooh.
some people might go through and say, oh, well, we're just not going to be getting a Diablo expansion at all, period. They'll just go through and keep doing patches and that's it. It's over. I There's still some things that I've heard and seen that makes me 100% still expect an expansion announcement, and I do fully expect one, this year. Now that Gamescom is ruled off the table, BlizzCon is going to be the next likely showcase for that, because even some people are going through and saying, like confirmed, Diablo is the redheaded stepchild of Blizzard, but it's not. Diablo has been steadily, kind of like regaining some ground since Reaper. It's gotten a whole lot better. It still has that problem of retaining the player base in between content updates, much like almost any game nowadays. It's just it's hard to keep you satiated 100% of the time without just patching in something new every month.
And I don't know if that's what their goal is with this game anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you don't have like monthly revenue coming in from the game, it's hard to justify that on the financial side of it. I can understand that, but just the immense amount of support that we're getting outside of the expansion cycles is, definitely much appreciated.
Oh, absolutely.
And kind of like I would love to see another expansion where they go through and take the game, and we could talk more about that in future episodes. But just wanted to kind of go through and get that out there, that no Diablo presence whatsoever at Gamescom. We're not going to get an expansion there, so all eyes on BlizzCon, and I hope to see you there.
Man,
I definitely hope to see you there.
I've got a ticket, and I might have to sell it.
I'm very sad about that. I was actually, obviously I'm going to be there. I think Steven Leviathan still plans on going. He's still sorting that side of it out. Quinn is, he's flying in from the land down under to go and be out there. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of Diablo people out there, and just like one of the pastimes is like story time with Wyatt is going through, and the developers are always there, always willing to talk and share stories with fans. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So please, this might not be the BlizzCon to miss. So throwing it out there.
All right, we'll see. I want to go. I don't know if I can. We'll see. Personal, for all the real life reasons that no one wants to hear. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, BlizzCon expansion announcement would be awesome. So conversation for another day.
All
right.
Shall we get into some community feedback?
Let's do some emails.
Oh, let's do some emails.
I'll start the first one.
All right, let's start the first one, because you've been pulling them as we've been going through the show. I don't even know which ones we still have left.
I know. I'm sorry. I kind of did that because I knew that this was going to run long, and I thought it would be nice to just tie into, like, while we're on the topic, let's talk about that as well. So yeah. So the first one comes from Mr. Andrew, who he's doing an awesome thing. He's I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Operation Supply Drop, but Andrew has decided that he is going to he's running a support July 3rd, so it's already started through July 12th, and he's going to stream D3 and I think some WoW and maybe some Heroes of the Storm. So he's doing all, like, streaming all these and trying to raise some money for Operation Supply Drop, which basically sends like video game items to troops overseas. And so so he's a veteran himself, and also a gamer, and I think it's awesome. And so what he's trying to do is, just any support we can give him. And so 100% we support him. We've sent him some words of encouragement, wanting to get his name out here. We'll link his Twitch stream and or his fun. We'll link his Twitch stream and his fundraiser link as well in the show notes and in clan chat as well. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, check him out. He's twitch.tv/Fraggo10, FRAGGO10. Or if you guys want to reach out to him on Twitter, he's ADY or AD Young Photo. So ADYOUNGPHOTO. Just shoot him a message and, like, just support. Like, if you can't support him financially, support him, like, through words of encouragement or something.
Signal boosting.
That's a good idea too. Yeah. So just really appreciate the things that he's doing. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, check him out. And yeah, So good job, Andrew. Keep it up, man, and let us know if we can help in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I'll go through and grab the next one here. This is the one that we were talking about for the people live in chat. We're kind of covering this email a second time. For those that are not live, came in late, or listening on iTunes and YouTube or Stitcher. It's this one's coming from Gio Gato. Did I pronounce the first one right?
yeah, I don't know,
I
maybe. Ciao.
yeah. How?
All I want to say is domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. But
Yeah. He's just going through, and again, I guess we've talked about this so many times in the episode, but it's just he doesn't see any other viable like weapon choice besides the furnace. And then like for your jewelry slot, it's just like kind of like a no-brainer, immunity amulet or like unity or something along those lines for going through in progression. And he had the idea to maybe make it a little bit more interesting is kind of turning the cube into the new rune word. Excuse me. So that way it's like if you say I equip, this item, and this item in the cube, that it unlocks like its own like passive set bonus or like another passive. So you kind of have rune words or set like cube sets that if you set these specific ones to try and get people away from just using a furnace, just using an immunity neck, different things like that to just kind of like answer that the problem with the furnace.
it's almost like another set bonus.
Pretty much, it's just like another set bonus. I think it sounds it's an interesting idea. It'd be kind of difficult to communicate from a developer standpoint that if you do these things, like how do you put the information on the item that if you cube it, it will unlock this or give you this
Yeah,
passive. If you equip things, they kind of want to get away from that. That's one of the big reasons why they didn't go back and redo rune words for Diablo 3.
because you
Um,
had to look those up basically.
yeah. So it's I don't know. It's just it's an interesting take on it, though. I think if they ever do revisit rune words, it'll probably be in the shape of set bonuses on legendary gems.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I know they probably want to be careful as well because they don't like if you're going to get a set bonus for something like that, then people are going to use those, like use that combination. And
Mhm.
I think that's kind of what they're starting to get away from by using the cube is um, like sets are nice to have, but they also want you to have other options um, outside of just the 6-piece sets. And so they're almost trying to get away from saying you should use these combos. And I know that's kind of what your goal was trying to do in this email is how can I get away from having to use the furnace or having to use something like that. Um, it's an interesting idea. There's you just got to make sure it's not so beneficial to where you have to use that
Mhm.
new option. So yeah,
Mhm.
good ideas though. I like that. That's kind of an out there idea, which I really appreciate.
Mhm.
So
You want to take the
um,
next one?
I actually don't because this next one is kind of geared to you, and I feel like
Is
it's
this
gonna
the?
be.
Did
This
we
is the
cover all
last
the
one.
last ones?
Yeah,
This is the
yeah,
last one. Okay.
yeah. We
Um.
have a few like I think we have one or two others, but we wanted to kind of sort through those before we got back to those people. So
Yeah.
um,
So
yeah.
yeah, this one comes in from Stephen Stewart.
Who is this guy?
Stephen Stewart? Steven
I think he goes by something else
Stewart?
though in game.
Leviathan?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
is that name familiar to you? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know who this guy is. Um,
I've never called him by his real name, so Steppen Stewart wouldn't have sounded familiar to me.
uh, he's got some hate mail for Archon.
Oh,
Bringing
Leviathan.
it back. I love it. Um, so he's been going through and been just going absolute crazy on the PTR.
He's been doing some work.
Yeah, he has been doing a lot of work, and he kind of wanted to comment, Al, I'm kind of right, kind of wrong about like the IK set being like the generic Barb set, is that it really, really works only because of the synergy between the kind of like the offset pieces, so like the Gavel of Judgment with the Bracers of the First Men, going through and giving you all those buffs, and then like um, the shoulders, the new shoulders, Ancient Fury, like really helps to accomplish the diversity by giving you the access to like the renewable resource and such, and that that's kind of like really fun in helping to get builds and different classes away from like Reaper's Wraps by giving you great options in the bracer category, and then giving you another item. Like he also mentions the Demon Hunter, you're getting you're getting a bow that reduces resource cost, and then getting a really powerful bracer that gives you increased defense to get people away from Reaper's Wraps, to kind of like build diversity and builds and gameplay choices there. And then also, he is going crazy. He is going ham with the hammers, with
Ham
the
hammers.
Crusader on the PTR. And like I mentioned, uh, we were talking about it, and yes, we kind of Crusader, it's happening. Hammerden is going, and he also just wanted to say, for your info, I have seen Sandlot, and I knew the Conan reference too, and I wish I could type this in a larger font. Bible thump. There you go.
So that's a reference to our last week's conversation of
Hmm.
we were talking about Sandlot, and
We were just talking about a co-host that gets movie references.
yes, but I don't. Did I get the Conan reference?
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did.
No, you did not.
So
Yep.
I've got, I've got
So
to, I got to catch up now.
yep, gotta
But he
catch
could have
up.
just said that he caught the references and not really known them. So
Hmm.
Vlad, I'm calling you out, man.
Yep. I guess we'll just have to go through and try and get Steven back on the show as like a guest host for an episode, and have you two. I'll just read off movie quotes and see which one of you can guess the reference first.
I I like that, but I don't. And I mentioned this earlier. I don't want this to be like a competition with me and Leviathan because I can never fill his shoes as
No,
a
it's
host of
gonna
this
be a
show.
competition. You will dance for my amusement, and I will sit
I will throw
here. I
paint.
have everything. You have nothing.
Well,
Um,
I'm gonna quiz you and things as well.
and if it's
Figure
about
it out.
finance and financial systems, I
Yes.
will I will stare off blankly into space and
Yeah.
mutter something incoherently.
That's right.
Yep.
There we go.
Add Archon in for a three-way contest. I like it.
Man, pitting the new guy against all the old dudes.
Yep. Yep. We also had an email, just to acknowledge you, Derek. Had an email about sending in feedback. I will get an answer for that question for you, and I will email you.
Yep.
Um, I will email you that one. But yeah, I guess this would be moving on to items of the week.
It's the week. Got
Items of
one
the week.
today.
Or I guess this one is a little bit of a disappointment, ever so slightly, because this is not items of the week. This one is item of
Item.
the week.
But this is a really good item,
It
which I
is. It is a
which I
beautiful item.
which I appreciate. I like when people send in the
Mm-hmm.
really good items, like where they're like almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not seeing much wrong with this one, to be honest.
I just like it for just. I mean, it looks beautiful.
It
It's
sure
like
does.
the 10%, 1000, 1000. It's like it's nice to look at. There's a little this is something that I would expect to find, on Oddly Satisfying. Just how oddly satisfying the stat rolls on this particular item are. To not keep our, iTunes listeners in any more suspense, it is Danetta's Spite. It's ancient. It rolled 3,359 DPS. It was re-rolled for the 10% um, base damage. It rolled with 1,000 dexterity and 1,000 vitality.
Yep.
So, what are the odds of that? It just
It's
looks
just
beautiful.
it does. I love it.
In the secondary stats, plus 12 to maximum discipline.
Yep.
And of course you leave a clone of yourself behind whenever you use Vault, and Ronald McDonald's Happy Meal for the socket thrown on there for good
Bingo,
measure.
bingo, bongo.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
Yep. Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Very nice. Very nice.
Mr. Shinkle.
Yeah. Very nice item there. So thank you, RJ, for going through sending that one in. And that was it. So I do want to go through and then take this time to remind all of our lovely listeners and viewers out there, send us your items. Send us your feedback. Westmarch Workshop at blizzpro.com. We love to hear from you. We love to go through, feature your items, talk about your comments and your ideas. So please, again, send us an email, westmarchworkshop at blizzpro.com. I guess we're kind of getting towards the end of the episode here, so we can kind of go through and throw out some
Wrap
stuff
her up.
on the outro. We do want to go and mention Rabid Shrew gave us a 5-star review with Sup Fellas.
Yep.
So
He had a bunch in there, but I just added in the title. So
yeah. So
we appreciate the 5-star reviews though, and it really it helps us out a lot on iTunes or anywhere else, I guess, right?
Yeah, really. Like little thumbs up on the YouTube videos. If you want to follow us here, twitch.tv/BlizzPro. For those watching on YouTube and listening to us on iTunes, if you want to come and catch the live show every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We also go through and do some other shows here on the channel. You can catch Twiz with his Extra Life charity stream every Monday night. They play not only Blizzard games, they'll play other games as well. Really nice. They have a Patreon where all the proceeds go to Extra Life charities. Really, really awesome stuff that he goes and does there. You can catch that with Twiz and Stutter. Tuesday nights, you can find Twiz, his other show, The Heroes Power Hour. That's also with DJ Tyrant and Balrog fan BP, and our BlizzPro co-founder Eldorian. I'm on there a lot. My work schedule is kind of putting my co-host spot on there into question whether I can make every week, but you can go through, catch us there, watch us play some Heroes of the Storm. And just some other stuff. You might see us go and do some fun streams and different stuff over there. All every once in a while. Lots of good stuff. And of course, you can follow me. I'm at Neinball Gamer and Twitter. You can follow Lieutenant Lunatic here at LT Lunatic 22 on Twitter. Again, Westmarch Workshop at blizzpro.com.
Check us out in game.
Twitch.tv/BlizzPro. You can find us in game. We're the BlizzPro clan. If you don't want to leave your clan, you can find us in the Westmarch Workshop community. It's free to join, come in, go chat with us. We're also on Raid Call. You can find our channel at 644-6420. I think I got that right.
64464. Yep. Well, we'll be honest. We haven't been the greatest at being in there the past few weeks.
I'm sorry. My work schedule has sucked lately.
Yeah, and I just haven't been home.
Yeah.
So we will be better at that.
I'm definitely trying. I am not working until 1 a.m. every single night this week, so I will try and be on there at some point in time.
But like you were saying with the BlizzPro clan, if you are thinking about joining, we are getting full again. So if you guys are thinking about joining the clan, just shoot us a note, like an email or something like that, or Twitter, or like a message in game or something like that, and just say, hey, like, just want to let you know who I am. And like Neinball, you've mentioned before, like we much really appreciate people, just being a little more personable about it, because it's nice to put some words with some faces. So because we are getting full again. We had a spot where there were quite a few openings, but it's filling back up pretty fast. So just shoot us a note, and we always appreciate that.
Yep. So yeah, definitely come through, catch us, follow us, watch us.
We're not hard to get a hold of.
No, definitely not. And,
Maybe it's a
and,
clam chat. People
and
are saying.
yeah, in the clam chat. God.
Oh
Never
man.
live that down. And of course,
Nope.
before I forget, you can also follow the official show Twitter at the WM Workshop on Twitter to
Oh
go
yeah.
through. So lots of different places that you can go through and find us. So go, give us a shout out, give us a 5-star, thumbs up. Send us email. Send us feedback. Is there something that we did wrong? Did we get something wrong? Did I pronounce something wrong?
Yeah,
Go
probably.
through. Yeah, send me an email. Tell me what I did badly. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, closing out episode 58 of the Westmarch Workshop, Diablo Cubed. Thank you and good night.
See ya.